Alauh Khan then sends his envoy to Cairo to demand submission of Saif al-Din Qutuz. In reply of this, Qutuz executes his envoy and prepares for war. He gathers resources from his nearby areas and unites all Muslim tribes in Cairo. And Baybars, who was the strategic commander of Mamluk Empire, prepares his men for siege. Now Alauh Khan was called back to his homeland due to some personal conflict between his own tribe. So he assigned his most trustworthy warrior. He was half Turkish and half Christian, well-trained strategic commander. After long wait, Mamluks then moved their army towards Gaza. After eliminating the Mongol presence, his army moved towards Syria. In Syria, they camped their army in the city of Aleppo, where they gathered resources. Now Kitbuqa became aware of Mamluks' movement, and to attack Mamluks unexpectedly, he moves his army along the Euphrates River and attacking them by the element of surprise. Now here Qutuz forms an excellent strategy which later helps Mamluk win this war. He sends small portion of his army with Baybars due to him being well aware of the terrain because he was held captive in that area before. So now Baybars and his men camps at a city near Goliath Spring, also known as Ain Jalut. Essentially this is called Goliath Spring because this is where King David, also known as Hazrat Daud salam, executed the Philistine warrior Goliath. After the Mongol army arriving near the Goliath Spring, Mongol army consisted of several units. Now the front unit of Mongolian army consisted of captives, Georgian, Syrian and Armenian troops. Due to them being native of that land, they had great knowledge of the terrain. Now when the Mongol army was galloping towards, Mamluks then rained barrages of arrows towards the Mongolian troops. Now Baybar's men were overwhelmed due to the large infantry of Mongol army, so they started retreating back to Goliath Spring. Now Goliath Spring was essentially like a valley, which was surrounded by three main hills. So Qutuz gathered his infantry of 15,000 men and sealed his men in the hills. So when Baybars arrived towards the Goliath Spring, Kitbuqa quickly realized that this was a trap. Mamluk's forces started raining barrages of arrows. So here Kitbuqa develops a very strong strategy. His strategy was to send his men to the highest hill so they can have the higher ground. Now Mamluk's forces on the highest hill were overwhelmed by the large infantry of Mongols coming towards the area. They started losing their ground. Now here Qutuz gives a very inspirational speech to his men and charges towards the high hill. Now even though Mamluks were losing the ground after seeing their leader Qutuz, they were motivated to fight back harder. Now Kitbuqa was shocked to see the infantry that was twice the size of Mamluks, and instead of advancing, Mongol infantry started retreating back. When Mongols were surrounded by Mamluks on all four sides, Kitbuqa decided that either he will kill or be killed. So he ran steadfast into the war zone and was captured and then later beheaded. The rest of the Mongol army started scattering towards the nearest cities. This was the first war in which Mongols were on the losing side. So, in conclusion, this battle was not only a triumph victory for the Muslim world, but it also preserved our holy land, Makkah and Medina, from Mongols, and safeguarding our Muslim culture and heritage for the future generation. Thank you.